Hello, hi everyone. My name is Dr. Sana Khan, and you're watching our app that is InstaPrep. I hope you all are enjoying the videos. So, today in this video, I'm going to talk on the types of active and passive acquired immunity. In the previous video, we have already talked about what is acquired immunity, right? We talked about the different types of immunity and immunity in detail as well. So, what is acquired immunity? Let us revise. Acquired immunity is an immunity which develops after birth, right? It develops after birth when you're exposed to various infections and pathogens. And in fact, we also talked about the two types of acquired immunity, that is active and passive. So active is a one in which the ready-made antibodies are given, right? And the passive is a one where the antibodies are produced. Am I right or am I going wrong? Yes, it is wrong. Absolutely correct. So you people are studying, huh? Yes. So active immunity is a one where our body produce antibodies. Okay. And passive immunity is a one where the ready-made antibodies are being given. So in this video, we are going to talk about the types of active and passive acquired immunity. So active and passive acquired immunity gets divided into two. The first one is called as natural acquired active, and the second one is called as artificial acquired active. Same way, passive gets divided into natural acquired passive and artificial acquired passive. Is it clear? So acquired immunity gets divided into two: active, passive. Active into natural, artificial. Passive again into natural, artificial. Okay. So now let us understand each one of them in detail with examples so that it gets clear in your head. Okay. So let us first talk about the first immunity, that is natural acquired active immunity. So can we read together? Immunity acquired due to infection which develops after entry of pathogen in the body is called as natural acquired active immunity. Okay, see, immunity acquired due to infection. Infection is a natural infection, so that is why the word goes as natural. Developed after entry of pathogen. As pathogen has gone inside, our cells are going to produce what? They are going to produce antibodies, right? So, and this infection is taking place after birth, so that is why the word is acquired. Why the word, what the word active says? Active says that antibodies are being produced. So immunity which develops due to certain infections, okay, where our body produced antibodies, then that type of immunity is called as natural acquired active immunity. Okay, so here we are going to talk about an example of measles. See, you might have all suffered from chickenpox or measles, right? Do you remember what happened to you? No? I'll tell you what happens. Okay, so most of us have suffered from chickenpox in childhood. Most of us don't develop chickenpox again in life, right? You might have got infected with chickenpox when you were a child, but now again and again, do you get this disease? No, right? Why? Let us see that. See, so despite exposure to these pathogens later in life, we don't get the disease. And this is because our immune cells have an ability of storing it as a memory. So memory of that antigen gets stored when it had come in our body for the first time. Okay. And when the same antigen, comes again, okay, then the disease do not develop. Why? Because it is already stored in our immune cells about the same pathogen. So in the second encounter, the immune cell starts producing at a very quicker rate and we developed immunity. Is it clear? So natural infection is the one where you get an infection. In the first encounter, you might get diseased as well, but antibodies do get produced. But during second encounter, the memory which was stored in your immune cells help you to develop the immunity against that disease. Okay, so that is about your first one. Okay, now let us go to the second one. The second one is for artificial acquired active immunity. Second क्या है? artificial acquired active immunity. See, it is artificial. So it's not a natural infection, right? Here we are going to take that pathogen in the form of vaccines, right? So immunity acquired due to vaccination, where there is a formation of antibody, is called as artificial acquired active immunity. Artificial because vaccination is taken. Acquired, you take it after your birth. Active because antibodies do get produced in your body. Okay, so vaccines contains what? Vaccines contains dead or live or attenuated pathogens. They also contain toxoids or toxins. Okay, so here I have written few examples of vaccines, that is BCG. The full form is Bacillus calmette-guerin, which is a vaccine given for tuberculosis, and polio vaccine, which is given for poliomyelitis. Is it clear? So natural, we have to talk about the natural infection. But in artificial acquired active immunity, here we have to talk about vaccination. Okay, so first let us talk about once again what are vaccines. So what are vaccines? So vaccine is introduced in the body to stimulate formation of antibodies. So it is given, we do take this vaccination so that the natural antibodies do get produced in our body. Okay, in response to certain antigenic stimulus. So now what does vaccines contain? Vaccines contain pathogen which may be either dead or live. If they are live, they have to be attenuated. Attenuated means artificially weakened. You cannot take it as it is. Otherwise, you're going to develop a disease to a greater extent. So that is why the pathogens need to be attenuated. They need to be artificially weakened so that your body shows some reactions, but not to that extent. Okay. So attenuated, or the vaccines may contain toxins. Toxins means the toxins released by pathogens, or it may contain toxoids, or it may contain what? Toxoids. What are toxoids? These are consisting of microbial components. So they are the component of the microorganism. Okay, so vaccines contains pathogen which may be dead or live. If it is live, it is attenuated, that is artificially weakened, or it may contain the toxins which are released by pathogen, or toxoids which are nothing but the microbial component. Is it clear? So vaccination is taken artificially. So here it gives which kind of an immunity? Artificial acquired active immunity. Okay, so that is about your artificial acquired active immunity. Okay, so now same thing happens with the vaccination as well. So when you take vaccination, your body produces antibodies. Okay, it takes time to produce antibody. That is why you get a little bit of side effects, like little bit of fever or a body pain. That kind of a response your bodies show. But in later, when you get the same pathogen in your body, the response by our immune system is quicker and stronger. Okay, so that is why we have to take vaccination, so that during second encounter, our body produced antibodies at a quicker and faster rate, and we get immune to a particular disease. Okay. So that is all about your active immunity. Okay, we have already talked about the two types of active immunity, that is natural acquired active immunity and artificial acquired active immunity. Now let us proceed towards the next type, that is natural acquired passive immunity. I think now you're easily able to understand each and every word. See, it's very difficult to learn everything. Okay, and why do you need to learn? I don't understand. You don't have brains or what? Yes, we do have. Let us try to understand and not ratify, because you can obviously आप रटा कर सकते हो, but only to a certain extent. But it is all about understanding. NCERT is all about understanding. Okay, the more you understand, the more you'll be able to solve MCQs for your NEET exams. Okay, so now let us go to the word again and try to break up the words and understand natural, acquired, passive immunity. Okay, so natural. naturally मिल रहा है. Acquired, it means after birth. Okay. Passive means ready-made antibodies are given. Immunity. So who will give you ready-made antibodies? Mother. So maternal antibodies get transferred from mother to fetus or infant. In case of infant, it get transferred in the form of colostrum, which is the initial milk which a mother feeds to his baby. And in fetal case, it gets transferred through placenta. Okay. So yahan par the ready-made antibodies are given to the child. So that is why the example comes over here is natural, acquired, passive immunity. Okay. So during fetal development in mother's womb, the baby is connected to the mother via the placenta, right? So this is the placenta. See how the baby is connected. Okay, through placenta. And through this placenta, the maternal and fetal blood are in close contact. Why it is in close contact? What happens? That we'll be talking when we'll be talking about the chapter human reproduction. Okay. Now we are just concentrating on the immunity part. We are not going into detail about placenta. Just remember that placenta is a structure which connects the maternal and fetal blood close. Why? For exchange of nutrients, oxygen, and waste products. Okay. So for exchange of nutrients, oxygen, and waste product. So pathogens, in such cases, even pathogen, the placenta is not only exchanging these substances, even the pathogen may infect the baby through placenta if the mother is infected. So before birth, these maternal antibodies get transferred. See, okay. So they get transferred from mother to fetus through placenta. So she's protecting her baby by giving her antibodies. Okay. So ready-made antibodies are received via blood through placenta. Or after birth, what happens? When the mother feeds her baby, she transfers her antibodies to the infant. Okay. So through colostrum. So colostrum is the initial milk which is produced during the initial few days of lactation. So in the initial days, this colostrum is produced in the mother's breast, and it is very, 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 very rich in antibodies. Which antibody you find it over here is IgA. Okay, so total there are 5 types of antibody, but colostrum has which type of antibodies? One of the NEET exams questions. Okay, so it is IgA type of antibody which is present in colostrum. Please make a note of it. Which kind of an antibody is present in colostrum? It is IgA. Okay, but it remains in the body for short time. After that, we do have cells, we have immune system which gets activated, right? And then our body functions on its own. Okay, so that is natural, acquired, passive immunity. So naturally ready-made antibodies are given from the mother to the baby. Clear? Now let us come to the last one, that is artificial, acquired, passive immunity. Again, let us understand each word. Artificial, matlab in the form of injections, right? Acquired, after birth. Passive, ready-made antibodies is being given. Okay, so immunity which develops by injecting previously prepared antibodies. So here we are directly giving antibodies. Okay, see, this is different from that vaccination wala thing. Vaccination, we are giving pathogen. Antibody is produced in the body. But here we are directly giving the ready-made antibodies. We usually give the antibodies which are prepared from the using the serum from humans or animals. So in what cases do we give this kind of ready-made antibodies? Do you know that? Specifically in case of dog bite. Yeah, because there we cannot wait for the antibodies to get produced in our body. Till then we might get rabies and we might get infected and सीधा ऊपर. Okay, so here antibodies obtained from hyper-immunized horse are injected to human against rabies pathogen. So to protect you from rabies, at that time we have to give the ready-made antibodies. Okay, because if the dog was not vaccinated, he might have rabies. It's not sure that he will be having rabies, but he might have. So you might be exposed to that rabies virus, right? And you might develop the disease. So to prevent that, we give previously prepared antibodies in case of artificial acquired passive immunity. Is it clear? Okay. So that is all about, see, this dog bite. When dog bites, we give injections. Okay. So rabies is a viral disease which gets transmitted from the bite of a rabid dog, but only if the dog is having rabies, and it is very, 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 very fatal disease. Okay, the chances of survival in this disease is very less. Okay, study about rabies, you will understand in detail. It's a very good disease. So that is why, to protect the person from rabies, we give ready-made antibodies prepared from hyper-immunized horse. Okay, so that's all about the type of active and passive immunity. So once again, we talked about the two different types of immunity: active, passive. Active, natural, artificial. Passive, again, natural, artificial. Natural infection, we talked about which examples? Come on, come on. Yes, it was chickenpox, measles, anything you can say. Then artificial may, it was vaccination, because we were giving in the form of injections. Bahar se we were giving, right? But in both the cases, antibodies were produced. That is why they were active. Coming to the next one, that is your passive one. So natural passive, mother to the baby. Then artificial passive, that is hyper-immunized horse. Say we take the ready-made antibodies and we inject in the case of a person of having a dog bite. Okay, so that's all about the type of acquired immunity. So here we end up with the immunity part. Okay, here we end up with an innate immunity. We have talked about the innate and barriers immunity. We have also talked about the acquired, its unique features, as well as the type of acquired immunity. Okay, so in the next video, I'll meet you soon with the next video. Till then, bye, take care, work hard, and work for your dreams. Bye.